Hello, CD Sexton here with Team Heli Bros. This is the fourth and final video in my Goblin 700 series video build series. As I posted in the forums earlier, I left off the last video needing to finish setting up the servos, finalize servo wiring, mount the boom, do the head setup. The basic construction was done. We just hadn't done any of the setups yet. Well, I got in a rush. I filmed me finishing it, got in a rush to take everything to the field for a fun fly yesterday, and I apparently inadvertently deleted all of that footage. So, rather than redo a video on the parts of it, I thought I would talk about the final steps of the build and go over things that I found along the way. Spoiler alert, this heli flies great. But we'll get to that later. I'm going to go ahead and take the boom off and reposition the camera, and we'll start talking about how I ran things. Alright, well, as you can see, I got everything put together. The final steps of this, when we left off before, I did not have the boom on it yet. Obviously didn't have the heads and blades on it yet. I had just finished mounting the servos, talking about my servo arms, and I was thinking to myself, what was I going to do about electronics wiring. Tell you what I ended up doing. The ESC is down here in the tray where the manual calls for, no problem. My BEC is actually under here. It turned out to be a good thing that I used the lower battery path. These 5,000 milliamp pulse 65C competition series are kind of really tall. Great powerful batteries, no problem. They needed that extra path. Servos, pretty straightforward. The manual reminds you there's actually a notch here in the aluminum for the wire for the front servo to come through. Everything kind of gathers back here. The nice thing about this bird is the canopy covers everything, but I'm still kind of a neat freak when it comes to wiring. I'll try to reposition things so you can see that in a second. Their only real trick was getting the phase sensor and the throttle lead from the ESC all the way up to here. And keep everything nice and neat and tidy and not interfere with the battery, because I need every millimeter of that battery tray. What I did was I did end up using, fortunately, the opto cable that comes with the Scorpion for the phase sensor is pretty darn long, so it reached all the way over and up no problem. It plugs right into the sensor port on the V-bar. I did end up using 1/6" extension on the throttle lead though, and that joint ends up being right about here. I just come across the bottom of the frame, kept things all tucked up and neat out of the way in case I ever use these posts for the straps, the rubber band straps. But everything's zip tight along here. Kept it real tight to the frame, came up here and up into the bay. The BEC wires, again, trying to keep things clean and tight. I took them up the far side. You can kind of probably see them through there, and they come out through the top as well. This is the recommended path for the motor wires. It's pretty straightforward. Down in the front there, big nice rubber grommet there protecting the wires coming through the frame, no problem. Worked out really well. It's a very clean looking build. Obviously I got my series wire hanging off the front here. The kit does come with these big, I've been calling them rubber bands, but basically what they are, rubber straps for holding the batteries down. You've got a couple of different places on the frame, high and low, that you can put the battery straps. I found the high on this side and low on the other with these 65C batteries gets plenty of attention. It's going to be hard to see on the camera. I split sticked my packs. Basically, just reposition the camera for a second so you can see this. I took my 2 6-cell packs, put a balance lead extension on, extended out the actual power wire, and used some 3-inch PVC shrink to hold them together. Made a nice brick. That's not a new idea. Shoot, a lot of the battery manufacturers will sell them to you already like that. I'm not real worried about the fact that it wasn't clear. I know what they are. I keep track of paper log on charges anyway. I did, however, even though it's one solid piece, I put a little of Velcro here, and it's going to be really hard to see on the camera, but down inside the frame I put a small strip of Velcro down here. Now what that does for me is while these rubber bands do a good job of holding it. It's really not any room to go up and down. I didn't want to trust just these against the rubber for sliding. The battery is capable of going out the back, but because the tolerances are so tight, having Velcro down the entire tray ends up problematic. You can't, it makes it hard to get the batteries in and out. So I put the Velcro, I shrunk wrapped the batteries together, used a 2-inch strip of Velcro here in the back so I can adjust for CG, put a real small pad of Velcro on the battery, and the Velcro doesn't actually engage until the battery is just about in far enough for CG. I still have some fore and aft plate adjust for the center of gravity again. Makes it work real well. The battery changer is a piece of cake. Instead of fighting me the whole way in, it slides down, begins to catch. I have learned with some playing that I need to have this shrink wrap about 3/4 of an inch from the frame. That gets my CG just perfect. This guy comes around, the straps hooked to the lower side. That's not going anywhere. It's not going to come up and out. This Velcro helps to secure it from going in and out, and that battery is ready to fly. Setting up the head on this guy was just every bit as easy as you would expect. The swash plate, per the V-bar instructions, I just made sure got my servos to as close to 90 as possible. The resolution on these 18 millimeters, spot on. I got 8 degrees right in the middle of the green zone on the V-bar. Absolutely beautiful. Resolution is no problem at all. I didn't have to use very much trim. The arms were able to get me pretty close to the center, and then rather than use a bunch of trim, I adjusted my arms. I've got level swash at all the different travel points, which is great. Setting zero pitch is a piece of cake. These heads actually have a notch and a line that you can eyeball zero pitch. I wasn't sure how accurate that would be, but I wanted to give it a try. These turnbuckles make it real easy. I started with these at the recommendation of starting point of 66 millimeters overall length. That turned out to be about 2 millimeters short, but because these are turnbuckles, it was pretty easy. But I used the eyesight line to start with, adjusting the turnbuckle till they were a straight line there. Then I put my digital pitch gauge on it. It was right on. I think I was 0.001 0.1 degrees out. It was a piece of cake. The sight line on these is very well done. Makes it nice and easy. Again, being a turnbuckle, there's no reason not to have perfect zero pitch on this guy with those arms being turnbuckles. And you know, that's pretty much it for the electronics. This bird is very simple. Everything goes in a set place. The head setup was a piece of cake. Again, this video series was never about talking about the electronics setup. There's lots of videos out there for that. I will say that it was a nice smooth build. I have absolutely no complaints. The canopy goes on pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and reposition the camera again and show you how the canopy works. Alright guys, I went ahead and repositioned the camera, folded the blades back, get them out of the way so to get more light on it. Now I'm going to talk about putting the canopy on real quick. I'll be honest with you, I was worried that because of the shape of this canopy and how it covers everything up, that it would be really hard to get this part past here. But you know what? This is a very well made canopy. Canopy took that into place. Like I said in the unboxing, it's flexible in all the right places. It will move out of the way. If I had one criticism for this canopy, it's actually down here and rather on the frame. The landing gear or struts have this little shelf that comes out that's designed to grab this and hold it up against the frame. I think I would have rather seen this not there. Maybe not quite so pointy. It is wearing the canopy a little bit. I don't think it's necessary. When this canopy is on properly, it's riding up against this plate, no problem. You're only using one canopy strut. I don't think these are needed. I think those are going to lead to some premature canopy wear. But hey, what do I know? I'm not an engineer. I could be proven wrong. It does work out pretty well. Getting past here, I found the easiest thing to do is to just spread it and go around the main shaft, making sure to hook the front under the ESC. Once I clear the swash, it comes down no problem. Push those under those shelves like we talked about, and if you've got it in the right place, oops, I missed the shelf on one side. My bad. Like I said, you got to catch those shelves. I missed the one on this back side. It hung up. Slides on. There are just 2 canopy posts on each side. You use these nice big aluminum thumb screws with an O-ring. The O-ring keeps the paint from getting chipped as it rattles against the thumb screw. One on each side. For the first time in a while on a kit build, I did not have to adjust the holes in the canopy. In fact, the whiplash didn't come pre-drilled at all. I had to completely ream those. I'd almost prefer that over in kits that drill the holes wrong. These just lined up and worked. It was a piece of cake. Tighten those down, and there's the canopy. It's on and ready to fly. For that batteries. Piece of cake. Alright guys, well I guess that's going to wrap it up. We've got the first 3 videos cover the basic build. I don't think there's really anything out of the ordinary there. I don't think I left anything out. I want to just take one quick second and wrap this series up with first an apology again. I'm sorry I messed up the video on of me doing the head setup and the final electronics placement, but realistically, if you're building one of these, you've probably built many helicopters. You don't need my personal bias on where wires go. More than happy to take all the pictures in the world. If you want to send me some PMs on individual questions, happy to take them. My email address is piece of cake. It's cdsexton@gmail.com. Real hard. My board handle is cdsexton. Just add @gmail.com to it. You're there. I started this build because I built the Whiplash and made comments about the Whiplash compared to the Goblin, and it was suggested that maybe I should build the Goblin, so I knew what I was talking about. I'm going to be the first to admit it. The Goblin's a darn nice bird. Hats off to SAB. They have stepped up every one of their quality control issues, at least that I've seen, at least in this batch of helicopter. I have confirmed this is the new tail. It has the bolts, the tail pulley. It has the bolts holding the flanges on both sides. I guess the old tail did not. I guess maybe it was a press, maybe it was a one piece. I'm not sure. This is the newer tail pulley. From what I can tell, it's the newer style pinion for the pinion and drive pulleys. I guess the tail drive pulley in the front had to have it wear and loose. The paint inconsistencies, I talked about the couple little things in the paint. The only paint blemish I found was so minor from where I'm sitting you can't even see it. There was that one problem where the corner of the boom up near the frame brace down here on the inside, there's a spot where the carbon didn't get enough resin and the carbon would chipped away a little bit. Does not appear to be affecting the structure. Does have, I mean, there's a reason why it has that metal brace there pushed out against the CF. It's bearing the brunt of the load anyway. I don't think it's going to be a structural problem. I certainly did my fair share of Pyros and tail slides in the last couple of days, and it's holding together just fine. Other than that, the paint inconsistencies on the struts are gone. The inconsistencies in the boom are gone. I had nothing break during the build. I wasn't shorted on parts. I already said it was the first kit I built in a long time. The canopy went on without modifying something. It's just, you know, like I said, hats off to SAB. They stepped up and they were public about everything they knew was wrong with it. And I hope other Goblin owners can back me on this, that they agree that SAB stepped up and took care of things. This was a very pleasant build. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Dominic, you can tell me I told you so anytime.